What's up, everybody? This is Chris Kane here again with another unofficial therapy podcast. I'm here with my girl Chloe today. Chloe, say hey to the people.
Hi, guys.
So, Chloe has a story she wants to share with you guys, and hopefully we can talk her through it. Again.
So, this story is about two people who started out as friends, and it was a relationship that started at the gym. But these two people originally knew each other from a few years back when this girl was dating his best friend.
This is your story, so you can personalize it.
Okay.
Yeah. You can these two people. This is like this all started in a small town. Like you can tell your story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, I was dating a guy when I was 18 years old, and this guy one night brought his best friend to help him out, kind of be like a wingman, and I brought my best friend. So those two were talking, and I was talking to the guy that I was dating, which ended up not lasting long, and it was a very short, temporary kind of thing. But my friend was flirting with his best friend, and later on we found out that his best friend had a girlfriend, and it kind of threw us off because his best friend was flirting with my friend, and we all thought he was single. So we didn't do anything about that. But I never saw any of them until 5 years later. This guy walked into the gym, and I saw him after about 5 or 6 years, and I pretended that I didn't know him because I just didn't want to say hi to him because I was dating his friend when I was young. And I just kind of, I think I was just a little embarrassed about it. I didn't really like his friend. Anyway, so he started to talk to me, and he was like, do you remember me? You dated my friend, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I kept acting like I don't remember him and I don't know him. And long story short, we ended up exchanging information, and we started to work out at the gym consistently, and we started texting, and he would always text me to work out, to hang out, and just always talk to me through text messages and all that stuff. So we started to become really close, and we started working out, I'd say, every day. We started taking classes together at the gym. When we weren't taking classes, we were texting throughout the whole day while he was at work or while I was studying with school, whatever it was. We were flirting a lot, and one night we were talking till really late, and he was confessing to me that night he could try to convince his friend to switch, that he really wanted to date me and he liked me and all this stuff, and that he was attracted to me, and I kind of said me too, and so whatever. So we continued taking classes, and we continued to text. Our relationship got stronger. We never officially went out on a date. Twice we planned to hang out, but one time on my part, the time conflicted, and then one time for him. So after that, we didn't really make the effort. We just continued working out together at the gym, and he would continue talking to me. I would talk to him. That's it.
So everything was at the gym. So up to this point, you guys were talking for a few months, but it's all gym?
At this point, I'd say 2 months.
Okay.
But yeah, at the gym and those two other efforts.
Just want to get it for the listeners. This is all gym stuff. There's no, extra stuff happening. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
So everybody at this gym that we worked out all thought we were together in a relationship. Everybody would come ask. Everyone's like, oh my God, he looks like he's so into you. And there's actually a yoga instructor at this gym that likes me and contacted me through Instagram, sharing his feelings and how he wants to get to know me. And he was there and saw that, and he told me to tell him that he's my boyfriend. So I was like, okay, that's cool. So we ended up doing that because we always took yoga classes with a certain instructor. So that instructor got off my back because he saw us always working out, but he also thought he was my boyfriend of a long time. And so we continued doing that. I never added him on social media. He never added me on social media. But my best friend, who, if you guys remember earlier in the story, who was talking to him when we were younger, they stayed friends on Facebook because he was private, and he's also private on Instagram. So recently, we thought it would be a fun idea for her to request him. And this is about 3 weeks ago. So she requested him, and she's still left waiting or requested on Instagram. So it's been about over 3 weeks, and that just doesn't look right because I know he's been on his Instagram for sure, I mean, within 2 weeks, I'd say.
You think he's ignoring your friend?
Yeah, I think he's doing it on purpose. That's what everyone would tell me, and I didn't believe them. But now I'm just like, okay, because earlier in the relationship, I remember one time with the whole situation of the yoga T-shirt, I kind of asked him in a indirect way, because I didn't want to be stepping on anyone's toes. I kind of asked him if he had a girlfriend, and he wrote me this whole paragraph saying no, he doesn't. He did before going to New York, which was a year ago, but then when he came back, she was still upset with him, or something that was a little off. But it said, I do not have a girlfriend. Then he asked me if I was in a relationship, and I said no, I was single.
So I'm gonna pause you here. So you said his response was a little bit off.
It was. My friend was actually telling me he's super shady because he was taking a long time, and just the way he was wording everything. But it was weird because he said no, I don't. I had one before going to New York, and then he said, but when I came back from Paris, because he first said she was upset with him, and she didn't hate him as much after that. But he's like, but I don't know.
So it was kind of. Yeah. So it was odd. Your friend said it was odd. You kind of felt weird about it. Did anything in you tell you to further investigate, or
no? See, that's the thing. I gave him the benefit of the doubt because he seemed so sweet. You don't want to hear this.
I don't know. I mean,
because he didn't strike me as that type of guy. But I guess who does, right?
They're not wearing shirts that say I'm unfaithful.
I personally, I like to go by actions and not words, and that was in the beginning. So I was like, let me just listen to him. So a few nights ago, my friend and I were in her car, and we were laughing, and we were just talking, and then we talked about the request, and we realized he still hasn't added her, but we saw that he has 2 mutual friends with one of our girlfriends and my friend's cousin. We called the girlfriend, she didn't answer. Now, mind you, this is 11:30 p.m. at night. We call her cousin, he answers right away, and he's like, what's up? He's like, I have the inside scoop on him. Like, that's my boy.
First of all, that's a grimy cousin. They're like, I got the inside scoop on my cousin.
It's not his cousin.
All right.
No. It's my best friend's cousin.
Okay, I'm thinking you're saying the guy's cousin was like, you want to know about my cousin? I'll put him out there. I'm like, what kind of cousin is this?
No.
All right.
So so it's her cousin. That's why he answered at 11:30 p.m.
I mean, if a girl calls me at 11:30, I'm picking the phone up. All right.
Oh man, you're so.
What do you want me to do? Hello? What? Yeah. Cool.
Well, he basically said he's like I'm pretty sure he's a girlfriend. He's been with the same one for a while, and we both were like, and he's like, okay, don't quote me on it. Let me check his Instagram real quick. And he looks at his Instagram, and the first picture he sees is August 7th, a picture of both of them, and it's her birthday, and they're next to each other, and he's like holding her, whatever. And I'm like, okay. And my friend's like, you sure it's August 7th, 2017?
Right.
And he's like, 2017. So he sent the photo, and we saw there was like a couple photos of them, and so I don't know. I haven't said anything to him, but I'm not going to. That's not my game. I'm just confused why he decided to have a friendship, or kind of express his feelings also with me when he has a girlfriend, because it doesn't seem like they were broken up at all. Because even if he wasn't lying, I'm trying to make sense of it. Like, maybe he wasn't lying and they got back together somehow 2 months ago, but it doesn't seem right.
It sounds like you're actually trying to give him more credit than he might deserve.
Right, you're right.
It sounds like you're like, what? You're like, if he's a good guy, then maybe she was being a bitch and he was like looking for someone, and it sounds like you're not telling the story for what it is.
Well, no. It is what it is. So I mean, it's shady. It really is. But to me, I guess the biggest thing here is just. In the beginning, my friend was like, "Oh, I wouldn't trust him," because when he was 19, he did that, like when my friend called him out on having a girlfriend, he's like, "Oh, it's complicated, haha." But I wouldn't think at 26 or 27 you're still your 19-year-old self, because you change, you grow up.
This is a newsflash. Just because a dude is old does not mean he has grown up. There's some 45-year-old dudes out here right now running a high school game on girls, still pulling hair, hiding behind walls and stuff, sending text messages instead of calling and talking in real life. Age does not mean maturity, unfortunately, especially for dudes. We mature slower,
Sure.
And depending on your experiences, some dudes never mature. So I get what you're saying. Ideally, yeah, at 26, you should be a more adult version of yourself. But
I wouldn't be like, oh my God, at 19 he did that, maybe now I just didn't want to think that. But when her cousin and my other friend, who's mutually friends with him on Instagram, said he's been with the same girl for a while now, I was like, he was being slick. I just don't know why he didn't want me to know, or...
Well, okay, let's play that thought experiment out. If you knew he had a girl...
I wouldn't. Okay. I mean... Well,
so it's like, if you knew he had a girl, would you have been working out with him every day?
Absolutely not.
Right.
It's not... I don't care that physical cheating never happened, but that's emotional cheating. He was talking to me all the time. He expresses attraction. He would walk me to my car, and we would talk some more about my car, you know? That's why I just thought it was inappropriate.
I think inappropriate is the right choice of words. The question about why someone would do that is, I mean, it's a far-reaching question. For starters, look, maybe he may not be happy with his girl, right? That's always a possibility, and he's testing the waters to see if he has another, like, lily pad to jump onto after he gets off of his, right? So he can just be that straight. I just want to test. I want to make sure I got something to fall back on.
He looked pretty happy in that photo. Chris.
Listen. Social media. Don't let social media fool you. I've seen people say "Woman Crush Wednesday," and the next day be like, "That bitch ruined my life," and I was like, "Dude, she was your crush 12 hours ago." It's like,
oh my God, that's so true.
It happens every day. So what you see on social media is a mirage for the most part. People want you to believe they have all this money and they're this happy and this and that, but it's not really what the truth is. And so. Yeah, I imagine he still has a girlfriend, but because they look happy in the picture, what, it's supposed to look sad in the picture? We're going through problems, and they post a picture on social media, that'll look odd.
I mean, it also makes sense, though. He never asked to take me out on a legitimate date, except those 2 times that we'd scheduled to hang out to go on a hike, and then this other event, but that's about it.
So my question is, while all this was happening, did you at any point feel like something was not on the level? I know initially when you said you have a girlfriend and he gave you that kind of answer, non-answer, you were kind of but like in your actual interactions, do you ever feel like we should be doing more or we should be going somewhere or this just feels odd right now?
I mean, yes, I did. After 2 or 3 months, I was like, okay, that's not normal because I've dated guys before and I know how it works, and I know if you're interested, you would be more aggressive in making a move and showing the action because, words aren't everything, so... I definitely did think something was off, but I guess because he seemed so good, and they all do, right? And
this guy's getting a lot of props. I gotta take his class, man. He's a nice guy.
And he always, this is also another thing. He always was he's a hard worker, so he's always like, I'm busy working. Like sometimes he'd leave the gym and he'd go back to the office and work late. Those are the worst ones, by the way, guys.
I'm gonna tell all the ladies out there, there's no dude that's legit too busy for a girl he likes.
Yeah, exactly.
Conversely, there's also no woman that's too busy. You can tell, I work 90 hours, but you say whatever you want. But when you make time for people and things you care about. So
yeah, you prioritize what's important.
Right.
I believe that. I just also thought maybe some people do take a slower time to get to know one another. That's why in the beginning I was like, I can't just, come with all these expectations. Let me fill it out. So I just did that.
You gave this guy a lot of credit, and that may be based in you being a nice person. It may be based in naivety a little bit, right? You could be a little naive, but
for sure.
But regardless, what have you learned from the experience? Because obviously you're out in the world now, hopefully not talking to a guy who has a girl.
No.
But did it teach you something about how you want to handle your future reactions with guys, or your courting process, or if you feel something in your gut?
To follow it, and I definitely think if he doesn't add you on Instagram within the first week or 2, it's not normal. No, but I mean, I think the whole relationship thing, that has to be made clear. I didn't know how much clearer it could have been when he said, no, I do not have a girlfriend, so I guess he just lied. I mean, But to me, you find out right away if they have a girl or not, if you want to talk to them, and also actions, taking you out. But then again, if I was going out with him and this happened, I don't think I'd feel any better, if anything worse. So
you probably feel worse.
I'm happy that it didn't go that far.
I'm curious, so you guys You guys were working out and hanging out together on a daily basis.
Yeah, he would accommodate his schedule to mine. Like he would text me right away the next morning. Oh, I'm sore. Oh, let's do this. Or how was your day? What are you doing? We would talk about a lot of things. It wasn't just workout. We were getting to know each other. He was asking me about my interests, my career, why I'm choosing this, what am I like want to do for the long, all these things. We both were just sending essays to each other.
And at no point of, let's say you guys worked out 5 times a week, right? Mm-hmm. You said for a few months. So let's just lowball it at 50 workouts over that span. At no point in the 50 workouts did something like a red flag of, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm busy. And he's probably hanging with his girl. Like I know, like did any of those?
Well,
you guys are
he was out of
for,
town. A few of those.
Okay.
For work.
All right.
Oh my god, I sound so stupid. I'm listening to.
That's why we're doing. That's why we do this.
Oh my god, it's just because like I sound like that girl. But
you're talking through it because that's what I'm saying. If you worked out 5 days a week for at least an hour and a half, that's 7.5 hours a week, right? That's true. That's a lot of time just with someone else. Sure. To be talking. If you're talking about anything of substance, it's going to come up. Even if you're talking superficial shit, at some point you're going to be, you see the game or my favorite show. At a certain point, it's going to go to something real. And once it gets to the real stuff, you can only fake it for so long. So that's what I'm trying to get to.
Well, one night we were here working out, and one of the workers here approached us, and she just came up to me and was like, "Oh my God, is this your man?" Right in front of him, and we both just paused, and I was like, I got all nervous, and I was like, "He's my friend," and I thought about that later, and I was like, "Gosh, why did I say that? Because maybe if now he wanted to make a move, I just friend zoned him."
That's the most awkward question in the world.
I don't know. I felt like I shouldn't have said that. And that night we were texting, and I just had to. I had to throw it in there as a joke. I kind of said, and just so you know, you're not completely in the friend zone, with a monkey emoji. And,
which monkey emoji?
The one with your eyes over, the one with the hands over the eyes, and then
that's the best one.
And the best. And get this.
See no evil.
And get this. And he takes about 15 or 20 minutes to text me back, and he texts me that same monkey emoji back, and he's typing for a good minute, and then he stops. And the thing right there is, to me, he could have easily said, "Hey, I'm in a relationship," or da-da-da-da, or "I just want to let you know." He had the chance, but he didn't, and that's why I just gave him the benefit of the doubt and trusted him, because I gave him a few opportunities to be like, "Oh, I'm not single," or "I have a girlfriend," but he didn't take it. He made it seem as if he's just a hardworking person and he just doesn't have time for anything, and he's single.
I mean, listen, your story, I think a lot of people have been there before, maybe not like the gym, but there have been girls that have hanging out with a guy, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm your friend," but he's like, even if he's trying to get at her, he's not doing it in such a forceful way, so he's kind of slow playing it. And she's like, "No, he's such a great guy, blah, blah, blah." And they kind of go along for the ride, and then at some point you find out he wasn't on the level. Typically, I think this stems from a lack of deep communication, because you say you were texting daily, hourly. Mm-hmm. You're working out daily. But
I'm gonna stop you there.
Okay.
We were doing that for 2.5 months, I'd say 3 months, and then it stopped once my school started.
I'm saying that's a long enough time, I feel, to know kind of what's going on. Give us 1 second, please. Okay, and we're back. Sorry about the break. So you guys talked for 2 to 2.5 months before you went back to school?
For sure.
Okay. And so, depending on what your communication style is, I'm a quick communicator. I don't like to feel like I'm wasting my time. So maybe this doesn't apply to everybody, but for me. And so
it's the best way to be.
Well, I guess it depends on your style. Like, I tend to be more direct because
that's the kind of feedback you want.
Yes, I would like to know, there are a lot of guys who are like this too, so I'll speak for us. There are a lot of guys who, if you're not interested in anything past where we are now, just cut it off at the head right then. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, "Hey, you're a nice guy, but I'm really not interested in you." Even if you don't have a boyfriend, just, "I'm not interested in you. If you want to keep talking to me as a friend, you can, but just so you know, I'm not in that way with you." I want to hear that as soon as possible, because the opposite side of it is I'm trying to talk to you, and you may feel that way, but you don't tell me. And so I'm making efforts. I'm trying to get to know you, and I'm doing all the guy stuff. I'm courting you. and then a few months go by and I'm trying to make a move and you're like, oh no, I don't see you that way, then I feel like I got played and I feel like I wasted my time. And so for my approach, the sooner I kind of know where we're going, or the sooner I know that I have a possibility of talking to you, then I can govern myself a little more accordingly. Now, I don't know what your style is. You may be kind of a slow player, like friendship, more than friendship, friends with I don't know what your flow is, but maybe different for you.
I don't like to get involved fast because I really like to get to know somebody before I get involved with them. So friendship is important, but getting to know them and spending time with them and going out on dates, because that's how you really get to know somebody and
Sure.
you get to know a lot about yourself and if you like somebody. But I'm not like, oh, I'll do friends with benefits first and then no. If I'm dating you, that'll come with it, but it depends on my intentions. I wasn't looking to have fun, so that's why I didn't present myself in a way that, hey, we can just have some fun, or have fun, or I could be your side chick or whatever it is. And I think that's why he also didn't tell me,
Right.
because I think he was keeping his options open, or I don't know, but if he did tell me, I would have not been okay with being his friend or talking to them this frequently or working out as much as we did if he had a girlfriend, because I think that's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we'll call it what it is. This guy was being deceptive, right? There's no way around that. And it sounds like he was doing it because he was interested in you 5 years ago, right?
That's what he said.
Right. So he's had a long-standing crush, and then he had a girl currently, and he saw you. He's like, oh man, maybe I can right wrongs and get it back 5 years later. And so he wanted to know if he had a chance. And guys always want to know if you have a chance. I said on a previous podcast, if you ever date a guy and you guys break up and you're like texting or communicating, he says, do you still love me? It's not really to know if you love him or not, it's to know if he has a chance to still get with you. But if you say, yes, I still love you, and a guy feels like, yeah, I still have a chance if I play my cards right to maybe get you back, right? So we like having options because we're guys. This may be kind of a DNA thing. But for you, it sounds like, this 5 years earlier he was feeling you, but he couldn't because his guy was in the way. And now 5 years later, his girl was kind of in the way. And he's like, maybe I can kind of work it. I don't know if he was trying to make you a side chick. I mean, you were kind of a side chick anyway, but I don't know if that was like his... This is what it is. I don't know if that was his end game, though. I do believe that, let's say you guys kind of kept going that route and then things got really good. If he likes you more than his ex, I actually could see a scenario where he would have left her to be with you. But because he didn't give you the option, he took that control out of your hands. And so he made you the side chick by default because he didn't give you the information. You already said, if I knew he had a girl, I'm gone, right? Like, you're not even going to get to know me on that level, or yeah, I may work out with you in a group, but it's not going to be a everyday texting kind of thing, or, yo, what's up? How you doing, Chloe? I'm hanging, right? So he took that decision away from you, and that's where the dishonesty really lies, is that he didn't give you a chance to make your own educated decision.
I know. He didn't.
So I'm curious now, like, I'm going to go back a little bit. You said you're kind of a slow mover for relationships. What actually determines whether or not you start dating a guy versus a guy just like being your friend? Like, what is it? Like, is there like a
if there's
date
an
requirement?
attraction,
Okay.
And if there's an attraction and it's clear, and he takes me out and the feeling's mutual and I want to go out with him, then that's like, oh, okay. I don't know. I think why he also didn't take me out on a date. I mean, before I kept thinking to myself, oh, like, he's not taking me on a date because he knows if he does, he's not going to be able to just be like, all right, peace.
Right.
Like, you're going to have to either date me from that or we go separate ways, So I thought, like, also because he made it clear because he also did tell me, he said that he has a lot of pressure on him and he's really focused on success and a lot of things, which could probably be bullshit, but he said that he just doesn't want to lose focus because he has a lot of pressure and he has a lot of other things to prioritize.
But you're still texting her every day and trying to work out every day.
Yeah.
That seems inconsistent.
Interesting.
I have a theory about what people say and what people do. And it has to have a foundation. I call it whatever your way is, like your mentality. If you say, my career over everything, let's say that's your outlook on life. My career is more important to me than anything else. What you do should reflect that. So if you tell me your career is the most important thing to you, but then you're not doing things to enhance your career, then what you're saying and what you're doing are incompatible, right? Like you're talking that game, but your actions don't indicate that. If he's telling you, I'm so focused on my career, I can't do anything else, this is all I'm doing, but he's texting you around the clock and trying to work out with you and doing that kind of thing, then that tells me that he's hedging his bets. He's got one foot in, he's got one foot out. And so when I see inconsistency in what someone says and what they do, immediately I know there's something wrong. Doesn't mean I got to stop talking to them, right? You may not have to be like, hey, you're a liar, whatever. But it does mean that something's inconsistent, and we have to find out which one is inconsistent.
Sure.
Either you're not that focused on work, or you really like me to the point where you're willing to, be more adjustable about your work schedule. But you can't do both. And that's where I kind of attack. And this applies to anything. I'm just using your situation because you're here. I want to talk to you about yours. So I'm sorry, go back to your dating thing. You said there has to be an attraction, it has to be obvious.
Yeah, there has to be an attraction, chemistry. I guess I do want the sparks. I think that connection is really important when you meet someone. But, I mean, once you start dating somebody, if you are interested and continue to date them, then to me that is going to progress into something. Or that means, like, okay, I'm dating him, I like him.
Did you feel any sparks for this guy?
I did. I didn't think, my friends were all shocked that I was even interested in him. And I didn't think I would like him, but I got to know him on another level. Like his personality, we spent a lot of time, and I really liked his personality. So I think that's what made me, like, build some feelings and attraction.
You felt some type of way?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So in an ideal world, would this have been a guy you wanted to date, or did
Definitely.
you?
No, he's a good guy. I really liked him. I spoke so highly about him, and I was like, wow, like, I had so much respect for him. I thought I had this different image. I was like, maybe timing's not right now. I'm in this accelerated program. I don't have time for anybody. He's working like 12-hour days. Just gotta be patient. But
I mean, timing sometimes is wrong.
timing is everything.
He thought timing 5 years ago was wrong. He was like, man, if only I met her before my friend, I could have talked to her 5 years ago. And then 5 years later, it's like the timing is still bad. So
well, his friend was kind of like the bad boy, the player.
That you dated?
Yeah. Oh, why? Pattern? No, mind you, though, I also dumped his friend very quickly.
This is a judge-free zone.
It was just, I think both of us were like, oh, we both felt this way. Like, I was attracted to you, you were attracted to me, and he was like, for what it's worth, I tried convincing him to switch. Well, I never know if that really...
He could be telling the truth. I've been on double date scenarios where I thought I was more compatible with the other girl and vice versa.
That's so funny.
And it's just you can't decide who you're attracted to, right?
Sure.
It can just be like, maybe my boy's girl has a better laugh than the girl I'm with. I'm just like, I like her laugh, or she has an energy about her. It may not even be physical attractiveness, but you just don't really know how to call it. It just happens. So I always have to ask this question.
Please.
Is there a scenario in life, let's say you and this guy talked at some point, like talked in person, not via text on some shady emoji thing, but you guys actually talked in person, and he explained his side of the story to you. Me and my girl were on a break, actually, and I didn't know how to communicate with you because I didn't want to lose you because you're so special to me, and I liked you for 5 years. Is there any scenario where you guys have a future, do you think?
No. I'm very realistic. I'm a logical thinker. When it comes to these things, I use my brain. If this happens, he's forgiven. There's no grudge, but I use my brain. I'm not going to get fooled, like, great, more than once. Yeah.
Okay.
I like to think with my brain, not with my heart.
I always have to ask the question because, and you took a second to respond, so I know you have to.
Because I really liked him, but it's just, I don't think old habits die hard.
That's part true.
I don't think people change that much. I think your core is really what your core is. And I'm not saying he's a bad person. Can't help the way, like, he's not a bad person, but he's just not for me. Because I wouldn't want to start off any kind of relationship with anybody that way. Also knowing that in the future, I can easily be the other girl on the other side. That can happen to me with somebody like this. So.
Absolutely. But you still think he's a good guy?
He's not a bad guy. That was a really shady thing, but I don't think he's a bad guy. He has a good heart.
Okay. And I like that you said that, because what tends to happen is people equate an action with a personality, and so like the two don't have to be like conflated. You can have.
Because they're not.
Right. You can do something really good and do it for the wrong reasons, right? And you can do something really shitty, but maybe at your core still be a good guy. He may just be super immature, but at his core is a good person, but just did something that he can't really defend reasonably.
Yeah.
And so you've done a good job, I think, of separating, all right, he's not a good potential mate because it's shady and now he's already lied to me, so the trust is already gone. But he's a good dude, so I don't want him to like have misfortune, or I don't want any negativity to go into his life. And that's mature from your part. Because I know a lot of girls would be on here bashing the shit out of this dude right
That's
now.
not
Like,
how I was raised.
he's the worst, and another thing. But you've done a good job of separating too, so I appreciate that, because I think that's something that is lost. It's a lack of honesty when you're talking about someone that you had some kind of past with. All you guys did was really work out and talk.
So that's why I said it's kind of a weird situation.
Right.
I can't say he's fucked up.
Right.
He did this, but at the same time, it's like there is something wrong with that.
Had things gone further, maybe this conversation would be a little different, and be like, he took something from me, and it could be a little worse. But the thing
I gave it to him, whatever he took.
Right.
I think it depends on the person, but I'm not one to point fingers or just blame somebody for everything, because I also got involved and I chose to make the decision to be with that person and do whatever it is that I did. So I can't just blame. It's never just one person's fault.
Nope.
It takes two.
It always does. So, going forward, so you said you're in this accelerator program. You're super busy. You're
super busy.
You're trying to get your life in order. But are you too busy for a gentleman caller to come along who has time, who's trying to treat you well, to take you out? Like, are you closed? Is your dating door closed right now? Like, you're like, I got to do school right now and stuff? Or
I'm not sure, because I do have those windows. I mean, I'd say those opportunities are being presented to me as we speak, but I don't know if it's because I'm not there right now mentally or if I'm attracted to them, but I think maybe it's just not timing right now.
you think timing on the guy's part or timing on your part?
Because or it could just be I liked him, and because if he was to pursue a relationship with me before, had I known what I did, like known everything I just found out,
Right.
I would have been okay. I would have been down to do it. I would have been so like all about it. But now, I have a couple good guys that want to make a friendship into something more. Or I've had a guy recently, one of my friends, he's told me how he feels about me and that he wants to treat me right. Like he wants to, take me to his parents and just all these things.
He wants to be your boo.
He said like all the things every girl wants to hear. And my friends all think I'm crazy, but I'm just not feeling it.
Because there's no spark with that guy.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
I'm hearing the words, but I'm trying to. There's something there that we haven't.
Because I dated him when I was young.
There we go. Okay, that's
But
like I know there's more
but I
happening
don't.
here. I was like, what is she not telling me right now?
But I broke up with him.
Why'd you break up with him?
Oh man, I'm gonna sound like a twisted person because now this is going. Okay, so 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I met somebody through my friend, and it took a while. We didn't date right away, but we started to date, I guess, after a year of knowing each other. But we liked each other when we had first met. We right away had chemistry and we liked each other, but nothing happened. And so I was presented about him being interested in me. Let's put a nickname.
Somebody tried to hook y'all two up.
Yes, saying
Okay.
he's a great guy. He knows how to treat it. Like, he wants to be in a relationship. He's like, dude, I want to hook you up. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll go on some dates. But I liked the other guy that I was introduced to, but nothing was happening with us. So, I mean, I couldn't really do anything about that. But then that guy came after me right when I started dating him.
Mm.
And so my head, wasn't really with him. It was in the beginning, but then I realized I'm not as interested as I thought I was.
Sure.
So I dumped him on Valentine's Day. I'm so
Oh.
awful. I know, I'm so awful. He was so
Wow.
pissed. He
The
was
Valentine breakup. That's
I-
a rare. That's a rare bird, especially from a girl's vantage point. Wow.
And I did it for the other guy, which ended up being the first guy I ever fell in love with.
Well, I
And
guess
I
it ended
dated
well.
after for a long time. I guess you could say that.
But that's so this guy that is interested in you now is the guy that you dumped.
So we
initially.
became, and we weren't talking for a while because he was super upset. He said he was going to hold this as a grudge. He didn't understand. He's like, I just don't understand. You introduced me to your friends. We had all this, like, these great times. We did this, we did that. You brought me, like, and this one night you were acting off, and that's because that one night, the other guy wouldn't leave me alone. And so this whole thing happened, and I just said, I realize I feel this way now, and I'm sorry that it's on this day, but I just don't want to lead you on anymore.
You couldn't wait till the next morning. At least
he was
at
so
least the
excited about that. I
15th.
know.
Oh.
I didn't think that one through.
Listen.
That was like a few hours before too. I didn't think that one through at all.
I mean, listen. You were in the moment. So this guy wants to come back from a Valentine breakup, and now try to
we became
rekindle
friends.
things.
Yeah, a couple years ago we started talking and just friends, and we grabbed dinner a few times, and then I realized I thought it was just strictly friends. That's what it seemed. But then recently he made his feelings clear for me, and he's like, I'm not with anyone else, and I'll wait for you to, like, play around, do what you have to do. He's like, whenever you're ready to, and I'm just like, what? I don't know what to make of this, because he says all the right things, and he's like the perfect guy on a, like, on a
the
paper.
chart, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think the chemistry of that is not there, or maybe I'm not as attracted to him. I don't know.
I'm gonna give you just a quick advice without even doing any like psychoanalyzing. Whatever that feeling is that's giving you pause, trust that feeling, because that's the truth. That's the truth. You can say, oh, on the chart he's this guy and I did him wrong, and if there's guilt attached to that Valentine breakup, that can maybe guide your decision too. And he's like, I'll wait for you to go out and go through your whole phase. I'll be waiting for you, all that good stuff. But whatever that feeling in your gut, that's like, there's something that's not right. That's the fit. That's what you need to trust. And so this guy is not the dude you need to be with.
But here's my dilemma.
Okay.
I never thought I'd ever say this, but it kind of also scares me because I might be letting a good one go,
Sure.
and I don't want to be in that position to be like, oh, that was so stupid. Like,
There's a lot of sayings and a lot of like verses that people in the church talk about. One of them is, you never miss out on the blessing that God has for you, right? And what that, you can take that and use it any type of way you want. But let's say in a relational context, let's say you blow this guy off, right? You dumped him 3 years ago on Valentine's Day, and he came back.
well, I never told him.
Right.
I mean, he knows that I'm not. He even told my friend. He knows that he's like, I'm just waiting for her to come around. He's like, that's why, he's like, the only reason I haven't made a move is because I'm serious about her and I really like her and I'm not just here messing around. Like, this is a girl I'm going to bring around my family and I want to do all this thing. I'm just like,
So let's say you, the second time around, still don't go for it, and you never date this guy ever again in life. The idea that you won't find another good guy is unlikely given the type of girl that you are. He may be a good person, but he just may not be the good person for you. And so you may, listen, if you date, let's say you start dating at age 16, and say you get married theoretically at 35. That's almost 20 years of people in that span. You're going to date some good and bad people in that time span, right? So the idea of I'm letting a good one go away is going to happen just by the numbers. Like, you're not going to date 20 bad people. You won't date all good people. He may be a good person. He just may not be a good person for you. So the idea of I don't want to let him go
Very
because
true.
he's good is irrelevant, because if he's not good for you, just like the first guy in the story. The guy that had a girl and was trying to make you the side chick, like, oh, he's such a good guy. Yeah, he's a good guy. He's just not a good guy for you.
Mm-hmm.
He may not even be a good guy for the girl he's dating. but
I don't think so.
so you can be a good person and just not be the right person for you. And I think I don't want, if you don't go with them because your gut tells you not to and your heart's not into it, but if you do it for the wrong reasons, like I want to date him because he might be a good guy and I just want to see what that is, I think that's the wrong reason to go into it. And it's probably going to end poorly again. And I don't know if that dude can take 2 of these. Like, you already took 1 body shot. Usually 2 is a knockout.
That's
so
why I'm not going into it.
the second
I'm
one
okay.
the second one is one you don't recover from. But I know you have to get out of here. You know, you have a life to live. I think we left off on a decent place.
Mm-hmm.
We'll wrap everything up.
Thank you.
Trust your gut first and foremost. So with this new guy, whatever you guys have a past, your gut feeling telling you not to do it, don't do it. The good guy you worked out with for months on end, listen, he was a grimy dude. He lied to you. He may still be a good dude. Keep him. I would keep him at arm's distance. Like, if he wants to talk to you, hey,
Sure.
how you doing? Cool. You want to work out? Nah, I'm cool. I'm working out solo now. You there's plenty of chicks you want to work out. Why don't you bring your girl to the gym? Y'all can work out together. I would say that just because I'm a comic. I would be like, hey man, why don't you bring your chick to the gym? He's like, oh, well, you know about my girl? And then he'd have to explain himself. But
I thought a better one to be like, oh my God, how are you? It's new. I'm dating the lead surgeon at UCLA now, so I've said too much.
Well, it's a big school. But I know, I think you can approach that a couple different ways. But what I don't want, I guess, going forward is I don't want this recent situation to derail your future situations. Like, if you're like, because you trusted this person and they betrayed your trust, right? So I don't want you to think going forward that I can't trust people or that I need to be less trustworthy.
No, that's not mine. From a psychology aspect, I start new with everybody.
Good.
I don't bring it on to the next.
So keep those windows open. When a good guy comes along, then, you know, I may even examine the way you communicated with the previous guy, because you guys talked for a few months and something as big as him having a girlfriend never really came up. And so obviously there's some discrepancy between good communication and just communication. You talking to somebody doesn't mean you're communicating, right? So you may have to like speed your own timetable up. I know you're slow, like, let me get to know me, let's do this date thing, like, let's do it. But you may have to ask some questions and maybe use some intuition. When you feel like something's off, like he always texts instead of calls, or he responds a certain way, if your gut starts telling you, hey, something's fishy, it probably is. Trust that and then kind of act on that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have another one of these a few months from now being like, I thought he was a good guy and he did it. He had a girl again. Like, I don't want to be here again.
No.
I want to hear about you living it up, having some dude spend all his money on you, all his money, and hopefully he has some money. He's not like a bum, and you can kind of live that dream and learn from this past guy experience.
Sure.
So, guys, thank you for tuning in this week. This has been another fun episode of the Unofficial Therapy Podcast. Chloe, do you have anything you want to say to people before I let you get out of here?
Just choose wisely and find yourself some good friends that are FBI agents on Instagram. That's about it.
You need to get you one nosy friend that ain't got nothing to do.
We all have that one friend that can pull up his social security and everything.
Get that friend that don't got a dude, and all she does is snoop. She be like, listen, I got all his passwords. You want to see his bank account statement? Find that one friend so she can put you through. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions or if you want to be on the podcast, hit me up at Twitter or on Instagram at Sexy Comedy. Thank you guys for listening. I will see you guys next week.